What's up, guys? Before I get into the team today, I've got a couple important announcements to go over really quick. First of all, I'd like to announce I'm going to be streaming on Twitch on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and weekend mornings, so Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Why this might be important for this YouTube video is what I'll be doing is during the week. So early in the week, if I make a video on Monday or Tuesday, or put it out on Wednesday, for example, this video, I'll be streaming this team and be doing a live Q&A. If you guys wanna stop by and ask some questions about the team, I'll be playing this team on stream on Wednesday. And if I release a team in the next couple days, then I'll be playing it on Saturday as well. So if you guys do need a little bit more help playing these teams, feel free to stop by on Twitch. If you haven't used Twitch before, it's really easy. You just come hang out in the chat, ask any questions. I'll try my best to respond. It's kind of hard sometimes when you're playing the game, but it is what it is. And second of all, huge shout out to all my Patreon supporters. The list is growing. Had to add another line there now. But I will get into the team. That's enough housekeeping for now, for sure. So let's set up the video and get right into it. So the team here is Deoxys Defense lead, Shadow Flygon is the switch, and Galarian Stunfisk is the closer. And honestly, Shadow Flygon and Galarian Stunfisk can both be used as the switch. This team functions similar to a lot of the ones I've used in the past. I've been waiting a very long time to use the Shadow Flygon. I caught it a long time ago, but not only did I need to wait for the frustration to be removed, I also needed to wait for the Community Day move because I didn't want to spend the Elite TM. So in this case, we're going to see an Altaria lead. I swap into my Flygon because it's my second best counter here, and the Dragon Claws hit really hard. And they're going to swap into Vigoroth. So I'm able to take this Vigoroth almost all the way down with just some energy on Shadow Flygon. But unfortunately, this Vigoroth has a bit of its own energy now as well. So Altaria's going to come back in. I'm just going to throw the Psycho Boost because it does almost as much damage as Thunderbolt, and swap right into Galarian Stunfisk. And they're actually going to throw their energy here, which signals to me that what they have in the back is extremely weak to Galarian Stunfisk as well. And yes, it's a Marowak. They try and catch a Rock Slide there, but I'm going to go straight for this Earthquake, and they're going to let it through. At this point, I really just need to start spending my shields on anything, as I have quite a bit of energy. I just need to get 2 Rock Slides to take down this Altaria. But as you can see, this team isn't as cut and dry of a double weakness team, just because Shadow Flygon and Galarian Stunfisk have a lot of different weaknesses. But in this case, Shadow Flygon does a perfect job at drawing out the only counter to Galarian Stunfisk on their team, and that is Vigoroth. As the other 2 Pokemon don't really deal with it too well, especially if Galarian Stunfisk has a shield advantage, which is something that Shadow Flygon is great at getting for you, or a energy advantage. So we're going to see an Azumarill lead. Deoxys Defense is the best counter to Azumarill in the lead. Right here, I think I'm going to, if I'm playing this properly, okay, I just go up to 8 because I lagged a little bit at the beginning. Generally, I'll charge up to 10. At this point, they could be at a Hydro Pump, so I do shield. Hydro Pump is the one move that you really don't want to take on Deoxys Defense. And I'm just going to charge up and go for the Psycho Boost. I'm counting my own moves so they don't get extra bubbles through, and they actually let the Psycho Boost through. So, because they threw so early this time, I'm pretty sure it's just to play rough. At this point, I'm going to swap into Flygon and commence the Mudshot farm down. So at this point, with energy, Flygon is an absolute monster, but unfortunately they bring out probably one of the better walls for it in Skarmory. So we're going to go straight for the Earth Power because nobody ever shields their Skarmory. And look at that, Earth Powering, a flying type Pokemon, deals that much damage. So this is just a little bit of a teaser for what is yet to come in this video. There's a lot of explosion. The Earth Power animation looks great. I'm fine with letting my Flygon go down because I'm just going to bring in my Galarian Stunfisk and try and get a bit of an energy advantage. So if we see here, there's an Alolan Marowak. They have 2 shields. This is a bit of a different scenario from last time. Last time I had the shield advantage. And I elect to not shield the first one just in case they do Shadow Bone, which they do, and get a defense drop, which they don't. In this case, I'm just going to throw Rock Slides. Right now, Rock Slide does a ton of damage. It's about to get nerfed, but with Rock Slide, it is important to get this off because I need to deal enough damage to Alolan Marowak that my Deoxys Defense can come in and finish it off with a Psycho Boost. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in with a Psycho Boost. And yeah, now Deoxys Defense just has to get a Psycho Boost of its own. Their Skarmory had no energy, so this was relatively safe, and I'm going to be able to get the win here as well. So another one of those cases where Deoxys Defense and Flygon are able to eliminate the only real threat to Galarian Stunfisk. I did have to remove a set in here due to awful lag. I think you'll see some lag anyways, but I think 2 of the 5 games were completely ruined again. It was a 2-3, so not too bad, but the team has been performing very well. Registeel lead. I honestly probably should have swapped right away. This is poor play from my part. I'm used to Deoxys having to be kind of the Registeel counter on a team, so I did stay in. But at this point, it's too late, right? Like Earth Power nearly one-shots, Earthquake nearly one-shots. The fact that I've done this much damage to it already is kind of a waste of energy. But they're going to swap in Shiftry, so this is pretty good for me. Shiftry, very good against Deoxys Defense and Galarian Stunfisk, especially without full shields. What I'm going to do is, because I outpace this Shiftry a little bit, I'm going to spend shields to make it spend more shields, because I want shields down with Galarian Stunfisk. Unfortunately, they do have a Registeel, which they probably also want shields down. But I'm going to keep charging up. Yeah, I'm able to rip all shields, and I'm going to catch whatever move this is on Deoxys Defense. So Leaf Blade, and I'm going to be able to farm down. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to come in with Registeel here, and instead of pressing the Psycho Boost, well, I guess I definitely needed to, but I'm going to swap into the Flygon and be able to get this Dragon Claw off before they're able to get to a Flash Cannon. Unfortunately, this Flash Cannon is going to take out my Flygon, but I really have to hope that Galarian Stunfisk, with that little bit of energy advantage, can take out whatever's in the back. So we'll see how this goes. It's going to be incredibly close. And no, just one move away. I'm not sure if I liked half turn there, but our turns were out of sync. But yeah, an Earthquake would have finished it off there, and then I probably would have been able to take down the Registeel with a Mud Shot as well. So a little bit of poor play or lag, not sure on my part, but that game was definitely winnable as well. So Azu into Sableye. Well, as we know, this is likely a Abomasnow team. I swap into Flygon into Sableye because you outpace foul plays, and you can kind of just trade shields, or you can farm up a ton. So I'm making sure I'm farming up more than how much I'm charging, because I just don't want them to get to another foul play, and they're actually going to shield. So I'm perfectly fine in this situation. We're just going to trade shields all day. They throw another foul play, so I'm going to charge up a little bit more. I honestly could have charged up way more than that, but I just wanted to get rid of this Sableye at this point. Yeah, I should have charged up way more. But the Shadow Claws are adding up. And at this point, I just really hope I can get to the Earth Power. So this is important because you'll see Flygon versus Azu a lot. The power does a ton of damage. They shield here. It actually gets the last shield, which is kind of important as well. As Deoxys Defense really needs shields down to deal with Azumarill. And they're not swapping out, which makes me really believe that it's an Abomasnow in the back. But this is a very common lineup nowadays. And it's something you should definitely be cognizant of. Oh no, this is the Marowak one. Sorry. the Sableye switch is Abomasnow lead, I think. But yeah, so either way, we have Galarian Stunfisk in the back to deal with this issue. So when they swap in that Sableye, usually it's safer to go into the Flygon. It can be fine to go into the Stunfisk as well, but you're risking a little bit more if it is like an Abomasnow in the back with that Azu. Yeah, because Flygon absolutely destroys Marowak as well. I think Galarian Stunfisk is also a little bit more comfortable, but really it's not that much. So we're able to pull off that win as well. Next game with Marowak, so this is an instant swap. I swap into Galarian Stunfisk right away, and they're going to swap into Shiftry. So not a great matchup for Galarian Stunfisk, especially in the effort of getting shields. In this case, I do manage to get them, because I think I win the zero shield. But in terms of spending shields, Shiftry outpaces you. So you don't really want to be spending too many of your own shields, or they're just going to keep catching up more and more on you. But yeah, in this case, I do get a shield, do quite a bit of damage, and they're going to come with a Leaf Blade. So I have a shield advantage at this point. and I'll come in with Deoxys Defense. I know they have a Marowak, so I'm actually just not going to spend any shields, and they're going to Leaf Blade. Little bit of lag there, so they actually get to another move, and because of this, it's a foul play. But not to fear, Flygon gets a little bit of an energy advantage, and they have a Alolan Marowak coming in. I'm just going to go straight Earth Power here. So Earth Power is not the strongest of moves, but on a Pokemon like Shadow Flygon, boy does it chunk. And I'm able to take down that Marowak. They decide not to shield, and they're going to save shields for their Meganium. And I'm just going to throw Dragon Claws at it. I'm trying to fast move deny every time because I need every little inch of health. You can see how much health these Vine Whips are taking off. And it looks like I'm going to need another 2 Dragon Claws to take this thing down. But luckily for Flygon, you only need 4 Mud Shots to a Dragon Claw. This is the fastest any move charges in the entire game right now. Just because Lock-On is not available on a Pokemon with short charge moves. And I just charge up to 2 Dragon Claws so I can throw them back-to-back and take out this Meganium. So this is just the power of Shadow Flygon with Shield and an energy advantage. Takes out 2 Pokemon by itself. It's honestly very powerful. It's very good against a lot of the meta. Really, all it has to worry about is the main thing it has to worry about is Skarmory. Against Azu, you can honestly bait yourself into some winning matchups, and they have to. All the pressure is on them because they're the ones swapping into you. If you lose, that's fine, right? Like, it's not too big of a deal. You come with Deoxys, take out their Azu, but if the situation really requires that you get switch advantage, you can make plays with Shadow Flygon to win switch advantage back. So yeah, I think this is where I had to take out the set, unfortunately. Had some great battles too in it, including one versus the 6'4 Ninja. But we are going to this set. The main reason I picked Deoxys Defense as a lead was because I was seeing almost only Abomasnows. So here we go. Here's the first Abomasnow that we're seeing in this video. And it throws Energy Ball. So tip to Abomasnow users, Weather Ball does more damage per turn than Energy Ball does. Damage per energy. So why are people throwing Energy Balls at neutral matchups? It does not make any sense to me unless you're fishing for the defense to drop, but that doesn't really make sense to me either. So anyways, I'm just going to go for the Earth Power on this Deoxys Defense. People don't like shielding their Deoxys Defenses. And that guy knows it. He threw the Energy Ball, right? So I knew he'd probably play the same way. The Abomasnow comes back in. It's good that I was lower health. And at this point, I have to make a tough decision. I'm going to swap back into Deoxys Defense because I do have Psycho Boost loaded. They're going to go for the Weather Ball, and they beat me to CMP. But I'm still going to get the Psycho Boost off and KO them. I'm going to swap out to clear my debuffs, and this game is still an uphill battle. Because Azu is very, very annoying, and it has a shield advantage. I probably should have tried to bait here. Just because they have 2 shields, it's very likely that they let something through. But I did recognize it's important to get shields down because my Deoxys does have a Thunderbolt. So at this point, I also probably should have baited because I have enough for a Rock Slide and a Earthquake, but they're going to let that through, and I'm going to get to another Earthquake because they decide not to throw a charge move. And this will either force their shield or let me get a Thunderbolt, and they're just going to let their Azu go down. I think they knew that... Sorry. I think they knew that I had a Thunderbolt charged in that scenario. So this next game, we're going to see a Tropius lead. This is probably the hardest lead to see for this team, but they swap out immediately. And that's making me think it's a double weakness team somehow. So either Ghost or Dark. You don't swap like that in that advantageous of a lead unless it's something like that. In this case, I'm just trying to outpace the Sableye. I would love to win back switch advantage here. Or like keep switch advantage, I guess. But I don't think this game ends up working out for me. It's a pretty hard team comp. Tropius is just so hard to deal with. It needs to not be a regional. But I'm going to get to that other Dragon Claw, try and win switch advantage. I do. And they're going to come back in with Tropius, and I'll be able to get a Dragon Claw off, which is going to be pretty important, I think. Getting any damage on Tropius is pretty important. That thing is just so tanky. And unfortunately, the flying type nerfs that are coming in the next patch are not going to affect Tropius, which I think is a huge oversight. I really think Air Slash should have been nerfed over Sky Attack, for example. In this case, I CMP tie with the Tropius, so I'm going to take another Leaf Blade, and my Galarian Stunfisk is getting really low. The fact that Tropius is not switching out of this is either a very good sign or a very bad sign. It either means that whatever's in the back is also weak to Galarian Stunfisk, or that means it's really good against Deoxys Defense. So I realized this and swap out, and unfortunately it's the latter. So this is going to be an incredibly hard game to win. Umbreon shield advantage. I mean, not too much I can do here. So yeah, we're going to see this Umbreon take down my Deoxys Defense. It still has a shield, so the best I can do or hope for is that it will just let this Earthquake through somehow. But yeah, they're going to shield and get to this foul play. So this game wasn't all that close, honestly. Tropius leads give this team a ton of trouble just in general, and Umbreon also gives this team a ton of trouble. It's very good against Deoxys. Has the bulk to deal with Flygon. It's one of the few Pokemon. And then also has the bulk to deal with Stunfisk. Like, Stunfisk doesn't just stomp it, which is something weird for Stunfisk. So another Alolan Marowak lead. I'm going to swap right out, and they're going to go into Shiftry, so Shadow Shiftry, actually. Shadow Shiftry is probably a little bit better for this team, just because it's all about taking down that Shiftry, and Deoxys Defense does better against Shadow Shiftry than regular. I'm going to let that Leaf Blade through, and because, so Alolan Marowak Shiftry sounds kind of familiar, right? Potentially Caleb Peng team. The last time this happened, it was a Meganium in the back instead of the Ferrothorn. I think this one, spoilers, maybe a Ferrothorn. That's what I originally thought the first one was as well. But at this point, I've realized, okay, well, if I don't have switch advantage, I don't care about my Deoxys. I don't care if it goes down because I just want my Flygon to have 2 shields here. So I'm going to farm up on this Ferrothorn. Earth Power does a ton of damage to Ferrothorn. Yeah, that's a ton of damage. That's like not a super effective hit right there. You do have to shield the Power Whips, which is completely fine. So I charge up a little bit more. I'm going to throw a Dragon Claw to finish it off, but I do believe in this case they will shield. And my goal is just to, because they get to that Power Whip, is just to farm all the way down. They have no shields anymore. I just need an Earth Power for this Alolan Marowak, and they're not even going to let me see the damage. Ruining my content, honestly. That's honestly probably the most fun part of this team, is just watching things get annihilated by Flygon, either Stunfisk or Marowak or whatever. The Earth Power animation is just so nice, combined with the amount of raw damage that's coming from Flygon. So we're going to see an Azumarill lead. This is where you want to see it if you're going to see an Azumarill. I mean, you're going to see it when you switch your Flygon in anyways. And this Azumarill is going to, I'm going to shield, but it's going to play rough. So yeah, letting it play rough through is fine. In this case, I'm just going to go for Psycho Boost again. I've started doing this instead, because even if they don't shield it, which a lot of times they do, I can swap into Flygon and just farm down. So I'll blow a shield, because I probably would have blown the shield on Deoxys anyways, but unfortunately they're going to come with an Abomasnow. They're not going to let me farm them down, and I'm just going to try and get as many Dragon Claws off as I can. They actually shield, so taking some shields back, because I was down 2-0 right there, is pretty important. Now I have an important decision to make. Do I go into a shieldless Deoxys Defense? Unfortunately, I misplayed this. But I live barely. Like, I should have thrown a little bit earlier. And I'm able to get to that Psycho Boost. And because I didn't see a Powder Snow go through, I'm able to go for another Psycho Boost. And they catch it on Azu, which is fine with me. Because they swapped, I'm now against their Alolan Marowak, and they're locked in. So this is huge for me if I'm able to take it out. I charge up as much as I can. Earthquake, I think, doesn't quite one-shot from full, but it's damaged a little bit. And Abomasnow comes back in. I'll be able to get this Rock Slide off and finish off the Abomasnow. Yeah, barely. So their Sack Swap actually ended up costing them that game, I think, because they were locked in to their Alolan Marowak against Stunfisk at that point. So Paco Pinata, I feel like I played Paco an absolute ton of times. We've seen Azumarill lead, so once again, you don't want to see Azumarill on a team, but if you're going to see it on a team, it's going to be in the lead. They threw really early, so it can only be a play rough or an Ice Beam. I'm going to tank the Ice Beam, count 1, and then throw my Thunderbolt. Like, if you go back and look at these games, I'm trying my absolute hardest not to let any moves through. I don't think I let any through in the Deoxys versus Azu matchup. It's just something you really have to learn through muscle memory. They've already spent a shield, so I'll spend a shield as well. Unfortunately, it's an Ice Beam. And they're going to double shield their Azu, so this makes me wonder what is in the back. Probably an Abomasnow, because these combos have been everywhere. But now I'm in a bit of a dangerous position. I'm down 2 shields. This Azu will get to an Ice Beam before I get to Thunderbolt. So I really have to hope this Psycho Boost KOs. Because I think they're just getting to the Ice Beam right there. But now shields are down, which is good for the rest of my team. I'm going to just swap into Flygon regardless because I'm debuffed. Unfortunately, they come in with Skarmory. But this gives me an opportunity. This is now a energy management game. I want to get this Skarmory as low as possible. But what I need to do is I need to be able to charge up on Galarian Stunfisk enough to beat their Galarian Stunfisk to an Earthquake. I actually think they make a good catch in this game, if I'm remembering correctly. But what I'm trying to do is get to 100 energy, then I can throw the Rock Slide. I just need one more Mud Shot to an Earthquake, and they actually catch this Rock Slide on Stunfisk. But that's okay, because I'm still going to get to the Earthquake first, and then I just need to beat the Skarmory with Stunfisk, which is a pretty good matchup. I also have a Deoxys Defense if I really want to try a Sack Swap, but I really don't think it's necessary, and it just increases the risk of losing. Sack Swaps can lose you the game. You have to be very careful about them. Like we already saw one lose my opponent a game in one of these matches. But we're going to get another 4 wins there. Yeah, this team has been pretty consistent. I think I lost, I think the second set I ever played with it, 0-5. That was with a different lead, though. That's when I gave up on, what was it, Wigglytuff lead with this team. It just didn't put up enough shield pressure, and it really didn't beat Abomasnow hard enough. Also, doesn't beat Abomasnow at all, so it just didn't beat Abomasnow. But since then, I've really only lost this super laggy 2-3 set, and that's been it. It's just been, oh no, I lost another set 2-3, but it's mostly been 4-1s and 3-2s. So the Deoxys Defense lead, this is very interesting as well. It's one of those matchups where once Deoxys Defense gets a little bit of energy, I'm fine switching because both my Pokemon resist their charge moves. Shadow Flygon doesn't resist Psycho Boost, so I actually switched into Stunfisk, which was my reasoning there. But they're going to swap in Azu. I'm going to no-shield because that's very clearly an Ice Beam. And I've already taken a shield off of them with an Earthquake. I think they shield the first one just to kind of guarantee switch advantage here, which is fine for them. Switch advantage is not too important to this team once I've seen their lead as Deoxys Defense, so I'm not going to fight too hard for it. I'm going to charge up a little bit more, though, on their Azu. Just get to max energy because they did just throw an Ice Beam, and they're going to let their Azu go down. We'll see what comes back in. If it's the Deoxys, it's not. I'm going to swap to Flygon, and they're going to swap to Deoxys, so they're going to throw a move right away. I'm not going to shield it because if they're throwing a Psycho Boost right away, that's kind of crazy, in my opinion. I will shield the second one because I think that I'm in Psycho Boost range to finish off, so it'd be worth it, but it's just a Rock Slide. A little bit of lag, but I'm going to get this Earth Power off. I have quite a bit of energy as well, and I really just don't want them getting to another Rock Slide. So instead of deciding to farm all the way down, I'm just going to go for this Dragon Claw, take them out. And now, unfortunately, they have an Umbreon, so this is going to be still a very tough game. I decided to shield my Flygon because it is by far the most damage that a shield can get me against this Umbreon. I'm going to grab the shield, and I'm going to swap and catch this Foul Play on Deoxys. But unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be enough. It puts me in a position where my Flygon can get to an Earth Power, but if my opponent is smart, they're just going to charge up to 2 Foul Plays, so I won't be able to get to an Earth Power anyways. Deoxys doesn't threaten Umbreon enough for them to be forced to throw that Foul Play again. So I'm going to try and get to this Earth Power, and unfortunately, I'm 1 turn away from getting to it. This Earth Power might have KO'd. It would have been very close. Umbreon is very tanky, but like I said, Flygon does a ton of damage. So, well played by my opponent. Umbreon definitely proving to be a little of a problem for this team. We're going to see a Toxicroak lead. This is good. I think my opponent makes a really good play here. So I'm going to charge up to 2 Psycho Boosts. I honestly should start throwing on 9. I am going to no-shield the Sludge Bomb. but I throw a 10, and they catch on Galarian Stunfisk. So while it's kind of good that they catch, it's really bad in a way as well. Because I'm going to swap to my own Galarian Stunfisk. And Earthquake doesn't one-shot Galarian Stunfisk, right? But with Psycho Boost worth of damage, it sure does. So I'm able to take out their Galarian Stunfisk with a full Earthquake worth of energy because my IVs are a little bit more attack-weighted than ideal. And instead of coming back in with the Toxicroak like I expected, they're going to come in with Obstagoon. So they throw the Night Slash, which is great for me. I really don't want this Deoxys to be taking too many Night Slashes, as I'm likely going to be bringing it back in to deal with this Goon. But I'm going to get to this Rock Slide. I started putting some shield pressure on. The fact that I can get the shield is amazing. My win condition is in sight. The goal here is to farm down this Obstagoon and throw a couple of Psycho Boosts at Toxicroak, but they switch and lock themselves in anyway, so there's no more switch advantage stuff. I honestly should have stayed in. Switching out was a complete mistake. But I shield the Mud Bomb, charge up a little bit more, get to that Dragon Claw, and then I'll just have to get to this Dragon Claw against the Obstagoon, which is not a big deal either. Just can't get farmed down there and have them throw the Night Slash at my Deoxys. But yeah, what I should have done was stay in and just throw 2 Psycho Boosts and KO the Toxicroak. J-Jan. So I already know this is going to be Grassel before this game even starts, and I didn't know how my team would play against it, but because I never really thought about it. But looking at it, boy, this team is a great counter to Grassel. Both versions of it. Flygon, Stunfisk, Deoxys Defense, they're all things that can force 2 shields from Shadow Victory Bell. I knew he was going to throw this Leaf Blade, or Leaf Tornado. That's completely fine. I don't really care if my attack drops. I'm just going to get these Psycho Boosts through. And I'm going to get 2 shields and swap to Flygon, because I can get to a Dragon Claw in 4 Mud Shots and take him down. Because at that health, my Deoxys Defense is still extremely useful against their Bastiodon. So Shadow Growl comes in. I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw here. Does a decent amount of damage. Actually, is that regular Growl? It looks like regular Growl. So because of that, I'm going to swap into Deoxys Defense. Just try and get to the Psycho Boost. But this is a pressured Psycho Boost, so J-Jan is going to make a nice swap here to catch. But it doesn't really matter too much, right? Because I've got Galarian Stunfisk in the back. In this range, I'll one-shot the Bastiodon. I'm really just going to charge up some more. The thing that'll deal the most damage is probably this Flamethrower. So I'm just going to charge up to that Earthquake. And let it go. Goodbye, Bastiodon. And in comes Grotle. And I charge up more for some reason. I have no idea what I'm doing. But because of this, he gets an Energy Ball. I really should have just thrown the Rock Slide. I don't know what I'm doing. But either way, pretty comfortable win. J-Jan made a couple good plays, and I made a couple mistakes. And even so, it was I didn't really feel worried at all. The bigger worry would have been if he had swapped his Grotle in first. So Deoxys Defense can't threaten as much with Psycho Boosts. But it is what it is. Shadow Hypno. This is kind of rough for the team. I used to swap in Flygon here, but Hypnos were staying in and just blowing shields to take down Flygon. Whereas I know the matchup between Shadow Hypno and Galarian Stunfisk a lot better, because I used to run a lot of Shadow Hypno, so I know from the Shadow Hypno side. They swap onto Umbreon, so if I'm going to see an Umbreon, this is the place I want to see it. I need to deal as much damage to this Umbreon as possible, and unfortunately I'm still in a pretty bad position because, well, they have a, they still have a Shadow Hypno in the back, which is not something Deoxys does particularly well against. It's not bad, but I'm going to bait here with the Rock Slide. I'm not sure if this is the correct play, but I do know I can get to another Rock Slide, or actually another Earthquake if they decide to farm me down. So they actually let it through, and because of this, I'm able to take a pretty big advantage in this game. Now with one shield on each of them, I can go into Flygon and really pressure this Hypno. I'll need a shield to shield the Shadow Ball, but because of the Shadow Ball, I can charge up a little bit more. I'm going to go for the Dragon Claw bait. So a lot of baiting in this game because I realize I'm behind. I don't usually bait unless I think I'm in a bad position, but they're going to swap into Deoxys to catch this Earth Power. Good catch, but like I said, At this point, it might be a bit too late, and Deoxys Defense, it's not like it tanked that very well either. So I'm just charging all the way up on this Deoxys. I know this Hypno is going to be the real issue. I just can't let it get to a Shadow Ball. So I charge up a little bit more. We're going to throw this Thunderbolt because I don't want to debuff myself. And I just need to get to that Thunderbolt versus Hypno as well. And I think maybe a little bit more damage. I just can't let it farm me all the way down. That's the only loss condition there. Able to get that Psycho Boost off and finish this game. So an Umbreon there. Managed to beat it. Shows you can beat your team's counters. Although I haven't shown I can beat Tropius in this set, but there just aren't too many Tropius around just due to it being a regional. I'd really like to see it nerfed, though, just because it is a regional. It's not accessible to everybody. It's kind of honestly unfair. But another Azumarill lead. Seen a lot of these recently. Because I lagged a little bit, I'm going to throw Thunderbolt at 8 again. Sorry. And they don't shield, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm going to shield because they charge up a ton, and it's going to be a play rough. This time I go for the Thunderbolt. Even though I've gone for Psycho Boost in the past, and they shield, so kind of regret it a little bit. But once again, I know this one is going to be a play rough, so I let it through. And at this point, a Psycho Boost will be enough to KO. So I'll just throw it, and then I'm just ready to swap out into whatever comes in. It's a Shiftry. This is not great for the team in general. But if I'm going to see it, I want to see it on Flygon anyways. The fact that they're not swapping out means they might have something weak to ground in the back, which is really good for Galarian Stunfisk. At this point, I can let a Leaf Blade through. And it's a Skarmory, so this is honestly pretty ideal. I'm going to go in with Galarian Stunfisk, and I have a shield advantage too, right? So because they have a debuff move, I'm just charging up as much as I can. Waiting for them to throw Brave Bird, so I can throw a move, but I got to 100 energy, so I'm going to throw a Rock Slide anyways. I still have a Rock Slide to throw if they do have a Brave Bird, which they do. And unfortunately, I wait a little bit too long to get to a Sky Attack. Or another Brave Bird, sorry. So at this point, this Rock Slide is for sure going to KO. And I have another Rock Slide stored up. So going to be able to take down the Shiftry, I think, as well. And Deoxys Defense won't need to come back in. I have that shield anyway, so I really just need to take down Skarmory and then just have Switch Timer back up so I don't get farmed down. And yeah, we're able to take another 4 set here. So like I said earlier, if you enjoyed this video and you're watching before the time which I would stream, I guess today, sorry, Wednesday, you might be watching in the future as well. At 6 Pacific Standard Time, I'll be streaming. But yeah, feel free to stop by. I'm really close to Legend right now. I probably won't hit it on stream because I play so much worse on stream than not on stream. But it is what it is. But yeah, come stop by. I don't promise winning a lot, but I do promise being helpful and helping people play the team. But yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching.